You're watching EAC News. Thanks for joining us. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Moscow Military Hospital on Wednesday the 25th of May to speak to soldiers whom Russian media said had been wounded in Russia's military operation in Ukraine, while the Russian government considers withdrawing from WTO and WHO. The Russian president shook the injured soldiers' hands and thanked them for their service. One of the soldiers greeted by the Russian president and asked for permission to continue fighting, according to the clinical internally speaking on their behalf, which Putin granted. It is not known how many Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded in the Moscow terms its special military operation in the east of Ukraine. Russia seeks to liberate Ukraine and let Ukrainians decide their own future. While the Ukraine demands an immediate ceasefire and will not compromise on the territorial issues, said former senior officials from both sides on Tuesday as they spoke about their respective countries' goals in a prolonged crisis. The Russian army will crash the Ukraine army but welcome those who did not take orders from Kyiv, said Sergei Makarov, a former spokesman for Russian President Vladimir Putin, in an exclusive interview with China Global Television Network. CGTN also spoke with former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, who served from 2014 to 2019. Poroshenko said Ukraine wants to ceasefire, the release of the hostages, withdrawal of Russian troops and humanitarian corridors in the first place, and he believes the country will not compromise in territorial issues. Major General Konchakov said Tuesday that in the past 24 hours, the Russian armed forces used high-precision air-based missiles to hit military targets such as Ukrainian compound posts, personal and military equipment. Meanwhile, the Russian armed forces also destroyed 6 ammunition plants in Donetsk, including a large ammunition plant that is used to keep American-made 155mm M77 howitzers. Russia will continue its special military operation in Ukraine despite the sanctions and increased Western assistance to Kyiv, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said Tuesday. Shoigu added to Russia was intentionally slowing the offensive to Ukraine to avoid civilian casualties. Additionally, the Russian Defense Ministry said Tuesday that the demining of the port of Mariupol and the coast of Sea of Azov was completed. Meanwhile, the Russian government is considering withdrawal from the series of international bodies, including the World Trade Organization and the World Health Organization, as these international organizations have neglected obligations towards Russia. The Russian Duma's Deputy Speaker, Piotr Tolstoy, said on Monday. Our previous Western partners, in fact, have not fulfilled a series of international obligations, including illegal sanctions against Russia's foreign reserves, assets of Russian people, and trade. From our perspective, we do not want to honour the obligations as well. These obligations have been existing in our law for 30 years, so we are planning to have relevant committees in our parliament analyse the legal documents for those international organisations to see whether they meet the current interest of Russia. The results of the work may be that Russia will no longer fulfil some international obligations, said Piotr. Some WTO members, including the United States, the European Union, the Japanese revoked Russia's most favoured nation trade sanctions following the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Some of the countries imposed sanctions against Russia due to conflict. In response to these, Russia is discussing withdrawing from their trade organisations. These trade embargoes are unlawful sanctions against Russia run counter to WTO rules, so does move close markets towards Russian products. These contradict WTO rules, said Piotr. After withdrawing from the WTO, Russia could stabilise the domestic economy and currency, and will open its door wider to Asian and African partners, Piotr said. We have to reshape our economy due to sanctions imposed by Europe, Western and United States, and we are accelerating the process. We will rapidly proceed to open our market towards partners in Asia, the Pacific region, and in Africa to fill the market gap caused by the sanctions, Piotr said. For the withdrawal of the WHO, Piotr said it depends on whether the supernatural power of international agencies is used against a particular country, such as Russia, adding that Russia's lower house is discussing it. Piotr said that Russia will analyse the decisions made by international organisations and will reject them if they are politicised decisions. Russia will proceed with their decisions in a way to not harm an interest in others or create damage, but at the same time allows Russia to develop without any kind of restrictions, especially political restrictions.